start. All right. Good morning, everyone. Brad Roltzkin here with the Fresno Bitcoin and cryptocurrency investors group. Today is August 13th, 2022, and we are talking about using crypto in a fiat world. You know, all of us have crypto, or at least hopefully all of us do at this point, but we still live in a fiat world where 99.99% of transactions are done in fiat. So what we're going to talk about today is maybe using some of that fiat we have in the world we're currently living.
Not what you meant.
Like usual, this is not financial advice. I'm not your financial advisor. We're just kind of some crypto enthusiasts kind of chatting away. I am Bitcoin certified. I went through a certification about a year ago and got that, but still doesn't make me your financial advisor. All right, so let's start off kind of just to talk about where we're storing our coins, because obviously, depending where they are is going to affect how we can use them, that type of thing. So on the left here, we've got the Trust Wallet we've talked about quite a bit. And again, that's an app only. There's no desktop, program version of that one. Exodus is nice because it can be used on either on the desktop or on as an app on your phone, and those can be linked together, which makes that really nice. Clever Wallet, again, is an app only. MetaMask goes both ways. And then Ledger or Trezor, are two of the most popular cold wallets, where we keep those disconnected from the internet. Keep the actual little device in our sock drawer, a safe deposit box, that kind of thing. Then on the other side of the screen, we're looking at centralized exchanges where they're controlling the private keys. So there's Binance.us, Bittrex, KuCoin, Crypto.com, Coinbase, and so forth. And there's dozens and dozens of wallets and centralized exchanges on both sides of the screen here. Anybody have a question on where, based on where you have your coins, what kind of device that is, or if you're holding your private keys or not, kind of thing? I don't know, Wendy, it looks like your screen was highlighted. I don't know if you chimed in there, but go ahead.
No, I didn't, and maybe I need to mute myself. I didn't realize I wasn't muted.
Oh, okay. No worries. Yeah, and feel free to jump in anytime. Your little screen just kind of lit up here for me, so that's what I thought. Okay, is anybody using Pancake Swap or KuCoin? Have you used those exchanges? No? Okay. Oh, I bet ETN, we talked about that. I'm going to put you on the spot, and I'm telling you and telling everybody else, I'm putting you on the spot. If you're using Pancake Swap or KuCoin, where do those fit on these two sides of the screen?
You mean you mean on the no, it's on the exchange. It's not a wallet.
Okay, well, like I said, it's a trick question there, because those are both DeFi exchanges, and on the DeFi exchanges, we don't actually store the coins on the exchange like we do a centralized exchange, because the DeFi exchanges connect to our wallet just for the 10-20 seconds it takes to conduct a transaction. So those two would either connect to, like, MetaMask is a real popular one, Trust, and those kinds of things. So it was a trick question on there, because people, when I take people through Pancake Swap or KuCoin, they see their funds and they're like, oh, there's my balance of BNB, and they think that the funds are on that exchange, but they're actually just in your wallet. But when it's connected to the DeFi exchange, you see those balances. So just as a point of reference there. All right. So this wasn't really a question to me so much up until about a year ago. I, like millions of other people, started my crypto journey with Coinbase. And so I linked Coinbase to a bank account, and I transferred over, I think, $100 or $200 just to kind of, start playing around type of thing. And then I knew that I could transfer the fund. I could sell the Bitcoin or Ethereum or whatever back to cash, and then transfer that back to my bank. So kind of the reverse of what I had done, to get started. But what happened last year, I got involved with some folks that were getting set up to buy some coins, kind of like an initial coin offering, and they had a chance to buy some coins early before they hit the public market, that were on the BNB network. And so there was kind of a flurry just to get set up, and hey, I want to buy $50, $100, $200, not big money, but a nice little chunk to get started, with the hope that those coins or tokens would kind of jump up. Let's see, Gloria, I'm going to mute you there. It looks like there's some background noise, but unmute and jump in anytime here, because I know we've done this a little bit as far as the BNB. So anyway, they jumped in using the Trust wallet. Was a popular method, and they used their debit card. And then all of a sudden, after a month of kind of doing this, getting set up, then the question kind of came up as far as, well, how do I get my money back to the bank account? And currently in the US, I think we're just getting started to be able to do it, is you can't transfer money back to your debit card. Normally we use a debit card to pay, just to buy something, and then we go on our way. Now, if we have to return, a pair of pants because they're the wrong size, they can usually refund your debit card, and then it shows up in your bank and that kind of thing. But in Europe, they're actually able to, if you gave me your debit card number or something, I could actually send funds to you just like you do to a bank account through like an ACH transfer. But for the most part, you can't receive funds on your debit card. So those folks that had started that way, or maybe used their credit card to buy that initial BNB, they didn't have a way to get funds back into the fiat world. They bought those BNB coins, and then they bought the tokens on the BNB network, and that's kind of where they were. So it kind of started going through this process. And so we'll kind of just run through kind of the general different methods that we're going between fiat and crypto. So we got the debit card here at the top, and that's just going to be a one-way transaction, from fiat to crypto. The second one are crypto ATMs. These are things that you may have seen in some convenience stores or gas stations. I know here in Fresno, we probably have, I think, 8 or 12 of them, kind of thing, that you can go up and actually put, dollar bills in and then get Bitcoin. And it's got a little camera, and it'll scan your QR code in your Trust wallet or Exodus wallet or whatever, and then send the coins right there. And then you can do the opposite as well. They are a little pricey to use. So wouldn't recommend that as a first choice. And then the next one here is a local exchange, and this is where you would actually meet somebody in person, like at a Starbucks, and say, okay, here's $500 in cash, and they send you $500 in Bitcoin right there, while you're sitting at the table with them.
Hey, Brad, there's another way to go that
Okay.
might be more convenient for some people. So
Okay.
I have been purchasing crypto through BISC, which is a DeFi exchange. It has open source software that resides on your computer. You and you can purchase and sell crypto using you can use Strike, and you can also use Zelle, and there's a couple other options to exchange funds with the other person. And so like using Zelle, it goes right into your bank account, and Zelle is the intermediary, and there's no, with my bank anyways, there's no fee to use the Zelle.
Right.
So the only fee that I pay is the percentage difference, between what the going rate is and what the person on the other end wants to either pay or charge for the crypto.
Right. So you're using this instead of like a local exchange. So you're doing it one-on-one with an individual.
Yeah, so Bisq and I can't think of the other one. There's another one. They're DeFi exchanges. So what you do is you go on. So with Bisq, it resides on your computer. It's a little software. You open it up and it lists anybody who's got an active offer at that time. And you
Okay.
can see how long they've been trading through Bisq. There's an indicator that says, oh, they've been on Bisq for 500 and some days, or they've been on Bisq for a day and a half. So you can kind of judge how trustworthy they are. And you see their offer. They may offer like 0.1 Bitcoin for, and then the percentage that they want over the
Going
current
price.
rate. Yeah, the going
Okay.
rate.
Okay.
And then you just decide you want to trade with them. So, I've bought all my Bitcoin through there, which means it's, well, I guess it can be traced through the Bitcoin blockchain, but and then, I'm holding it right now. And when I want to go, if I want to go sell it, I can just go back in there and make an offer to sell and somebody else will buy it.
Okay. So when you're buying it, then once you create that transaction that you want to do with that individual at the certain price, then you go in and it's kind of links to your Zelle account.
Yeah. So there's like 20 or 30 different methods that you can pay with. One of which is an Amazon gift card, and there are people that will do that. They'll either, yeah. And then the Bisq itself, you put in your Zelle information and the other person puts in their Zelle information, and your money just goes directly to them from your bank through Zelle, and then or it can go the other way. So when you're buying Bitcoin, you'll pay a little bit of a premium to buy it. But when you're selling Bitcoin, you sell at a premium.
Okay. So the person buying is always paying the premium. Okay.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the amount that it goes up and down, the premium just, 5 minutes later, that could be eaten up by price going up or down.
Right.
So not a big deal. It just is what it is. Yeah.
And you pick the premium. You decide. There may be people on there that are willing to that are willing to pay 10% over, the going rate. But if you're only willing to pay 4% or, pay 4%, you put in your offer that I'm willing to pay 4% over. I've seen it, and it varies from day to day. So if you're not in a hurry, you just keep your offer in there until there's nobody else with a higher premium above you. So it's like kind of like an open market, because you
cool.
set your own premium.
Okay. Very cool. Thanks for bringing that up. So it's kind of a hybrid version of the local exchange, and you don't have to get together in person.
Yeah,
so that's good.
And even you can even get together if you want to. I mean, there are some people that will list it that they will only trade, in person. There's some people that trade using money orders, which means it has to go through the mail, and that takes extra time. But the exchange between the two of you kind of gets locked up once you agree to make the exchange. You
Okay.
put up a little bit of collateral to ensure that you're going to complete the exchange.
Got it.
But
Okay.
it seems to be working, and I've not read any complaints about about how it works, or people saying, well, my trade didn't go through, or somebody scammed me.
Yeah, that's good. And that's what I enjoyed the most about these cryptocurrencies, because they're coming up with solutions that we couldn't do otherwise. But with crypto, we can do this kind of a solution. And maybe this one also requires Zelle, or some other payment methods that you mentioned. But some of these things couldn't be done without cryptos. And so they're giving us, new opportunities, which
I mean, I've purchased crypto two different ways through Bisq. One, I've used an Amazon gift card. The guy that was selling to me was willing to accept an Amazon gift card in exchange. And you just go online, you buy an Amazon gift card, and you send it to their email address, and then they send you the crypto. And there's a mechanism within the system where you let the system know each step that has been completed. And then
Okay.
once you both agree that you've gotten what you agreed to, then the system will release the collateral that you've put up for the trade.
Okay, so it's kind of like as a built-in escrow
Yeah,
process.
it's
Cool.
not, the escrow usually isn't the full amount, but it's there to kind of ensure that you complete the trade.
That's awesome. Okay, awesome. Yeah, thanks for bringing that up. And yeah, if anybody has any other examples, feel free to share those too. So that, yeah, let me continue on here on the last one here is kind of the probably the easiest one and the ultimate one that we do want to have is, which is a crypto exchange with a link to your bank account, whether that's Coinbase, crypto.com, Binance.us, or Bittrex is doing it now as well. So those are all good. Okay, so if you're looking to buy crypto with a debit or credit card, there are some exchanges that will let you do that directly. So we've got like KuCoin, Binance, Bittrex, and then these other wallets that are just on your apps. And so that's a lot of the folks that I was doing, they were going through this process, but then they couldn't go back. And that's kind of where, like I said, where this discussion started. Here, real quick about the crypto ATMs, this is kind of what some of them look like. They'll throw up a QR code like the one in the lower left, and then you'd send your funds there and they show up, then it would, spit out $20 bills, that kind of thing. And then again, if you do it the other way, they'll have a little camera in there that you can put your phone up to get you the QR code for the wallet address where you want to receive the funds. This coinatmradar.com will help you find where the ATMs are in your area if you're looking to do that. But again, they've got some high fees, so it's not the first choice. But if you get in a jam, or maybe you're on vacation somewhere and need to do something real quick, might be a solution, that kind of thing. Some of them, when they started, they used to print out this thing here on the lower right that had the private key is that second one. And so it would print that out, and then you'd have to basically use some kind of online interface where you could enter the wallet address and the public or private key to be able to conduct the transaction. But again, that's something you don't want to, let anybody else see, because they're going to have access to your funds. But that's how some of them worked, there at the beginning.
Hey, Brad,
yeah.
I used the ATM so I was trying to get into crypto without using a centralized, exchange, which it's really hard to buy your first Bitcoin without a centralized exchange. And so I went to the ATM, and I have to tell you, I also was reluctant to put an app on my phone. So I printed out my Bitcoin address on a piece of paper, and I walked up to the ATM, and I was actually able, using the paper QR code, I was able to purchase $100 of Bitcoin and then transfer that Bitcoin to BISC to start the trading process. And so it was rather interesting. And it's with the Bitcoin machine that I used, it was a 15% fee for the transaction.
Yeah, but at least it could, you got it done. And if you did that, 6 years ago, that when, Bitcoin was $200 or something like that, not a big deal down the road if you're keeping it long term. But yeah, good. And that's really what it comes down to is these exchanges and how we're getting our funds from one place to another place. And so that's kind of what we're talking about today. So if you have any other creative ways of doing it, jump in. So good. So that was ATMs. Then these local exchanges we talked about, localbitcoins.com was kind of the first one to do that. I've never tried that. It, seems kind of, slow and a lot of work to actually meet people or, that kind of thing. But I guess in a big metro area where you might have more people that would actually do it, might work. But anyway, can be dangerous, so be careful as far as that goes. Okay, so if you have a crypto exchange linked to your bank account, you can go back and forth, anytime you want. So that's really, to me, that's the ideal situation. And you may want to use more than one of these. So like Binance.us is good. Obviously the Binance company behind them is the huge one worldwide. Unfortunately, we only have Binance.us here in the US, and they don't support as many coins, but the link to the bank account is good. They're one of the ones that will hold your funds for, it's either 7 or 10 days once you link them, once you transfer them from your bank account. So if I was to transfer, let's say $500 from my Bank of America to my Binance account on Monday, I could pretty much immediately buy Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin, whatever I wanted to, but I couldn't transfer the Bitcoin, Ethereum, or whatever off of their exchange for, I think it's 10 days or 7 days. Anyway, one or the other. So they'll let you use the funds there back and forth. So if you're, day trading or just trying to, make a little money that way, you could do that, but they wouldn't let you transfer the Bitcoin to a local wallet, your Exodus or Trezor wallet, that kind of thing. So just be aware that is an issue with some of these. It seems that once you've been established as a customer for longer, then you have higher limits in how much you can transfer. And sometimes those delays, verification delays go down or are eliminated. Bittrex does something similar. Coinbase and crypto, I haven't had any delays there. I've had my Coinbase account since 2014. So hopefully that is kind of playing in my favor there. So those are, real easy way to do that. So some examples, you could go from, BNB to Binance, sell to Binance for USD, then transfer it to your bank. So the trick here is using a coins that exchange that you have linked to your bank account supports. So for example, the one kind of in the middle here, the BNB simple swap, Litecoin. So if you have Coinbase doesn't support BNB. So in this example, I used the simple swap website to transfer the BNB to Litecoin and then send the Litecoin to Coinbase, sell the Litecoin for US dollars, and then transfer that to my bank. So that's kind of the trick, or the thing you got to watch out for, is if you end up with a coin that your centralized exchange that's linked to your bank account doesn't support, you're going to have to convert it, somehow back to something that they support. You can probably go backwards in the path that you use to get to that coin, or there's some other shortcut. Simple swap is kind of nice because you can literally just put in the address you want to send whatever coin to, and then they give you a QR code and an address to send the coin that you have to them. It goes through their system and ends up, where you want it to be in the coin you want. Now they're going to take some fees, in that process, but it sure makes it easy to use. I've had some people that have had some problems with it. There's one where I was walking them through, we did $100 and it went, through perfect what they wanted to do. And the idea was, okay, let's do it once with a small amount before, trying a bigger amount. Then they later on went through and did like $900, and they had a problem with that one. But the simple swap people were real good and fixed it, found where it got stuck or whatever they did, and were able to fix it. So they do have customer support that answers. I don't know if they do anything by phone, but they definitely are very responsive or that kind of thing. So if you use a system and something goes wrong, don't stress, because there's people there to help you with that, as far as that goes. A couple more examples here. If you had Tron and you wanted to turn it into BNB to send to Binance.us, because Tron isn't supported by Binance.us, you could sell it at KuCoin, convert it into BNB, and then send that BNB into your bank, via US dollars. Has anybody else come across any other tricks like simple swap or ways you've converted one coin to another real easily and quickly like that?
So I haven't necessarily come across a way to do that simply and easily. But one thing I did want to mention is, as you're doing that, keep in mind that there's a lot of tax implication for doing those cross-chain transfers, it's not necessarily so much an issue of like how much you lose doing it, but it makes your taxation really complicated. Because the IRS likes to see each and every transaction as a separate one. Even though you're converting it straight across for the same price roughly, they still want to get their money. So that's one to be mindful of there, as well as slippage between selling or converting to another coin on a different exchange or transferring to another exchange. You lose money in the process. So less transfers and less changeovers in chains is going to save you more money overall.
Right. Good point. And especially on the taxation or tracking that, from that regard, you probably want to use as few different exchanges as possible, because with the tools that are out there now, they'll go in and, can suck down reports for the last 12 months or, whatever time period. But if you only have to do that for 2 exchanges versus 7, that's going to be easier, on each of us at the end, and that kind of thing.
True.
So that's actually a good point.
And just one more piece to that, as far as the list that you had provided, I'm not super familiar with Bittrex. I know that they're pretty huge, but I haven't used them. Everyone else on that list, though, I'm pretty familiar with, and from what I've seen historically, the best the best avoidance of slippage and price difference on those exchanges is usually going to be crypto.com. Oddly enough, their prices are usually, I wouldn't say substantially lower, but they typically run the lowest compared to most of those exchanges. At least from the multiple times I've gone across chains and just checked the price difference, there's usually about I'd say it's between 2 and 5% difference sometimes between them and, say, for instance, like Coinbase, especially. Coinbase seems to have, well, and actually, I'll be honest, even crypto.com has built-in fees that they don't really tell you about. They just put it straight into the price.
Right. And that's the one thing, that we can't see. But the thing I've noticed with crypto.com is when you go to withdraw a half a Bitcoin or whatever it is, that, what they add on there can be substantial. Like, I was working with people with a lot on BNB, and they try to transfer like what was it, a half a BNB or a tenth of a BNB or something. But it was, at one point, it was like 10% what they wanted to take, and they would take actually a higher percentage on the lower amounts, and then once you did a higher amount, it was a lower percentage. But it was like, holy cow. Where when I've transferred off like a KuCoin or Bittrex or these other ones, the fee, it didn't look like I was really paying much of a fee other than just a network, just pennies kind of a fee.
The trick I found for that is to use their DeFi wallet, because you can use the Kronos bridge that they have built in, and it cuts out a ton of those fees. And then if you go from there and trade it off the DeFi wallet instead, there's a lot less fees.
Okay. I appreciate that, but that's just going to complicate things for a lot of people. But that's and that's part of the fun, is finding the ways around these tricks and that kind of thing. So that's
Always
good. Yeah. And Frank mentioned Coinbase Pro, and there the fees are cheaper to trade back and forth. I just had never got into Coinbase Pro because I jumped onto like Bittrex and Poloniex when they were still around, or we could still use them. Those were kind of my 2 first go-to back in 2017, before some of these others popped up.
Well, it's just kind of odd because you're like, you get lower trading fees, but you have to pay to get those lower trading fees. So it's like, are you really saving?
Yeah. So is anybody else use Coinbase Pro a lot, or more than I have? I hear people mention it like, okay, this is a good solution, but to me, there's even better solutions just outside your front door type of thing. So I don't know.
The one I'm wondering about kind of lately is FTX. I know everybody's been plugging FTX, and I have an FTX account, but I'm just not sure what their price difference is, and if they're like sending off off their exchange is very expensive because I haven't done it yet.
Okay. Yeah, I'll have to set up an account there because, yeah, I mean, the goal for all of us is to minimize the number of wallets and accounts we have, but for, it's probably not going to hurt to have accounts with the big boys and like
Mhm.
FTX, crypto.com that are spending millions of dollars a month advertising. They're probably going to be around next year, in 5 years, that kind of thing, compared to some of these other ones.
Crypto, I'm honestly a little concerned about because I spend a way too much money on advertising. But I mean, with FTX, they've been buying out other companies lately, so I wouldn't even worry about them.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's interesting because at this point, it might be one of those where, they need to get big fast, like Amazon was, did back in the day. And now they're, one of the ones that are left.
True.
It's interesting. But I'm with you. It's like, them spending money on a Formula One race to advertise doesn't help my crypto, fees or that kind of thing. But if it gets 10 times as many, users, and now they can afford to hire more developers to, build a more robust product, that's probably not a bad thing. But yeah, that's a whole nother discussion.
Definitely.
Let's see, Frank, did that answer your question? We haven't spoken lately. I'm not sure where you are with Coinbase or Coinbase Pro, but feel free to jump in if you got more to share on that.
I haven't really done anything, Brad, since the last time we talked.
Okay.
Oh, I've been just sitting and watching and learning. I think you set me up with Clever, I think it was. But other than that, I'm just sitting tight and learning.
Good. Okay. Thanks for jumping in there. All right. Let's see in the next screen here. Let's see. So we get debit card funded with crypto to get the fiat. Okay. So this is what kind of where we get started when we have the crypto. How do we get it back that we can use it? So in the previous screen, we talked about getting the funds to our bank account, which is, we're all, very familiar with bank accounts, and, we use our bank accounts and our debit cards, checks, ACH transfers or whatever every day, online bill pay, that kind of thing. But this other way is, little, well, not quite of a hybrid, but another way to actually use your funds. So with BitPay, you can transfer your crypto to your account there, and then you have a debit card that looks like any other debit card with a Visa logo on it, that kind of thing. And then you can use that to buy gas, groceries, pay for dinner, that kind of thing. Crypto has a few different options for debit cards, and they actually give you a percentage back, as a rebate on your purchases. Their free card, I think it's a blue card, and I got that one probably a year and a half ago, and they would give you 1% back in crypto in their Kronos coin, which is their coin on their native Kronos network. And so I thought that was a great idea, because I was going to be buying gas, groceries, and that kind of stuff anyway. So I got a crypto.com card. I didn't use my crypto to transfer Bitcoin to that account and then sell it and then put the funds on a debit card, which I could have, but I actually started using it just to get the rewards in crypto. So what I did is I would transfer $500 from my Wells Fargo account to my crypto account, and then I would use that funds on my to pay for my daily, weekly spending. And I was slowly building up Kronos tokens and that kind of thing. And so I looked at that as kind of a long-term savings. So that was kind of an added benefit to crypto.com, I thought. And I was happy with that, and I was using that until I saw that Coinbase finally came out with their debit card, and they were offering up to a 4% rebate. So I said, well, 1 versus 4, I like 4 a lot better. So now I use my Coinbase debit card for my daily purchases, and I still transfer the funds from my bank account, because for my situation, all of my crypto, I'm trying to keep in crypto, not actually spend it. But if you're getting paid in crypto, or, you hit it big, in one coin or token, you could transfer the funds to your Coinbase account, and then whatever's in your US dollar account on Coinbase can be used with their debit card. And similar process in crypto.com. They're a little more limited on the funds. I found it interesting because, crypto.com supports a ton of coins to exchange, but the list of coins that you can use to fund your debit card is much smaller, maybe 10 or 15 different coins, at least when I was looked at doing it months ago. So that but again, you can swap them to something else and then sell them, that kind of thing. And then the last one on the list here is Cash App. They only support Bitcoin, at least the last time I looked, but you could send Bitcoin to your account there, sell it, and then use the Cash App debit card to make your purchases.
So just a thought on those, Brad. So for crypto.com, one side note to also make is that they also offer like odd cash back deals where it's like 5 or 10% depending on the retailer. Coinbase, you get more choice in which crypto you want back. They usually have 4 or 5 options at a time, but usually it's just XLM now that they offer at 4%. I'm guessing because of Rally's weird situation that they had. And then for Cash App, that actually sounds like, and that's one I hadn't thought of till you brought it up. That one could be really good for being able to do those exchanges between people a lot easier, because you can, instead of purchasing it and then sending it to someone, you can literally just click send crypto to a person. And as long as they have Cash App, you can send it to them. And I don't think it charges the transfer fee, because you're basically sending fiat to a purchase on their account.
Right. It's just within their system. So it's not actually going on the blockchain, so to speak. It's like, because it's like a big centralized exchange. Yeah. So that's, and I had a lot of people bring that up, the Cash App, and they had that because they had gotten it prior to their crypto experience, but they were trying to put the money in a ATM and then send it to their Cash App, Bitcoin wallet address kind of thing. So yeah,
You mean like a Bitcoin ATM or?
Yeah, because they were starting with it because I guess they hadn't linked a bank account to Cash App for whatever reason.
Oh,
but they knew they were using it as their wallet. They're like, okay, once I have it there, then they could send it like to Simple Swap to swap it for BNB. Because again, it was a lot of people that were trying to work in the BNB space, but Coinbase didn't support that. Cash App didn't support it. So we were using all these things to transfer. Yeah, the crypto was nice because it did support BNB, but then it was a challenge because which version of BNB? And then at one point they had like the Android version of their app only supported one of the BNB, and then the Apple iOS supported the other one. It was like, oh my gosh, which one do you have? And yeah, it was, but these are the kind of things we're going to have to work through because, we're still early in this whole crypto game, and there's not one app or one wallet or one exchange that's going to do everything. So we're going to have to do a few things sometimes to do what we want.
Brad, I wonder, what are your thoughts on using, say, like just a cold wallet to transfer to someone?
Nothing wrong with that. I mean, it doesn't matter which wallet, it depends.
I wonder, do you feel like the fees are equitable compared to the centralized exchanges, or?
Well, yeah, if it's a cold wallet, or Exodus or Trust, then you're just paying the network fees. So ideally that would be where you would want to store your coins and send from, because there's no other entity involved.
That would be nice then, because honestly, I mean, you can purchase, as long as you're not trying to purchase, exotic coins, most wallets support purchasing on their actual cold storage wallet exchange. And then you could just transfer it straight from your wallet.
Well, what do you mean by cold wallet exchange?
So say like Ledger, for example. I have Ledger's Nano S, I think it is.
Okay.
And they have a built-in connected exchange that you can purchase from, and it goes directly into your wallet rather than on an exchange. And I think it's a DeFi exchange essentially. So there's not any real markup, compared to like a centralized exchange, which would mean
Right.
then you could just purchase it from there and send it directly to someone without the large, transfer fees.
Yeah. How are you funding that purchase?
So you can fund those with credit, debit card. You can fund them with other crypto on your wallet, typically, depending on the crypto that you're using.
Okay, so it becomes more of a swap on that. Okay, because the problem with funding it with a debit or a credit card is that's where some crazy fees come into play.
Yeah.
So, because like Trust Wallet and Clever Wallet allow that, and so I was helping a number of people with and doing that situation because they didn't have to go through the KYC and all that kind of stuff. And I mean, I sat at a Starbucks with somebody and we just did it right there, boom, 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 and they were done. But their $50 minimum to purchase ended up giving them like $42 in crypto.
Yeah, it makes it pointless.
Yeah, so that was why I asked that question as far as where it's funny, because anytime you have a credit or a debit card involved, it's going to be pricey, and that's
And I could be wrong. I feel like I know they do charge if you use a credit card and a debit card, but I think for the debit, I think it's not horrible. It's like 1% to 2% or something.
Yeah, it seems like there was and buying a small amount the other problem where people would buy $50 worth and they paid $7 in fees, but then they'd come back and do $300 and it was like $11 in fees. So it's kind of that minimum you got to get over. But so many people were starting there that it was painful.
Yeah,
that kind of thing.
I mean, just an option for people if they want to do it straight, maybe with just crypto, their cold wallets could be a good option.
Yeah, we all have to figure out what works best, and it depends on where we're storing the coins. I like to use the cold storage for things that you're not really going to access those funds. So if you've got $10,000 in Bitcoin, and 9,000 of that is you're just going to hold forever, but the other 1,000 you might dabble and swapping back and forth to Ethereum or Litecoin or something else. Put the 9,000 in your cold storage, and then the other 1,000 in Exodus or something like that, where you're still holding the private keys. If you're actively trading, then yeah, maybe transfer 500 to an exchange, with crypto or Binance.us or whatever, and actively trade there. But you don't need to keep all 10,000 on the centralized exchange to trade $1,000 or $500 every week type
it's
of
just
thing.
an unnecessary risk.
Exactly. So okay, let me see. I got one more example here on the slide. As far as using the debit card, we kind of run into the same thing. So like the second one down here, if we had BNB and we had a Coinbase account and we wanted to get that on a Coinbase debit card, we might have to transfer BNB to Litecoin using Binance.us, or we could use Simple Swap or something like that. Litecoin I like using for these intermediary exchanges because it's very well supported. It's been around forever and the fees are very low. So like Litecoin, unfortunately, in my mind, that's like its only purpose right now. I was hoping we would see it more of as a for daily exchanges and that kind of thing, but we don't seem to be quite there yet. But Coinbase supports it, so that works good there. Again, if you wanted to go BNB to KuCoin and to BTC, and then to send to your Cash App, that kind of thing. So some of these you might have to do a couple different exchanges, but we want to, like Anthony said, minimize those just to keep the fees down and then the tracking to a minimum, down the road. Yeah, see, any questions on that? Or if you guys run into situations where you were trying to use, I always like these kind of problem solving, like, I have X and I'm trying to get to Z, what is it going to take to get there type of thing. Anybody have any examples where they're trying to use their funds? I know Allegra mentioned like purchasing at a restaurant down in Mexico, trying to use crypto, that kind of thing. But yeah, if more merchants accepted crypto, that would make it a lot easier, but it's a little complicated. Let's see. ETN, have you done much of that, or are you still just accumulating the crypto?
I'm just accumulating the crypto.
Okay. Yeah, and nothing wrong with that. It's, this kind of situation is more so we're prepared when, Bitcoin goes to, 500,000 and we want to pay off our house or something like that. How are we going to do it? And I'm guessing most of us on the call, we haven't experienced that yet, but maybe someday soon. So, hey, Gloria, we haven't heard from you. How are you doing? Oh, maybe she's not there. Okay. Anthony,
Here.
go ahead. Hey, Gloria.
I'm having fun with my lobster wallet. Boy, that's a wild ride.
You're still doing that. Okay. Have you, I know when you've pretty much gone back through Coinbase when you're trying to use your fiat or use the crypto to buy something in the fiat world. And that's
Yes.
worked good for you, because then you just transfer it back to your bank and away you go.
Well, I can also I've learned to use Coinbase with Exodus and my lobster wallet. But on lobster wallet, I could actually use a debit card to fund it through XLM, but I haven't done that yet. I've
Okay.
spent as much time in a spend, and I'm just waiting.
Okay, good. And yeah, and you're right. More and more wallets seem to be adding that funding option with a debit card, or credit card. It seems like the credit card companies are a little more hesitant on allowing crypto related transactions to go through. And it usually seems the smaller the bank, the more likely the transaction will go through. As far as, the smaller banks don't care as much, but the big banks like, Chase or something, I guess they know we don't allow crypto transactions. Now, maybe they do now that they're, more crypto savvy, like we were talking about earlier about an article that they were referenced in.
I heard that Bank of America is got fit in with Wells Fargo now. So they're uniting, and I heard they're creating a crypto department. So it's just a matter of time.
Yeah. Interesting. Let's see. Well, anybody else? Okay, see Jolly Smith had unmuted. Go ahead. Did you have a question?
Oh, yes. Hi.
Hi.
I'm just listening in. I have an account at Coinbase and I'm checking it out right now as we speak. I haven't looked at it for a while. So I'm just learning right now. So I'm just listening in, and I really don't have much to offer, but the information you're giving is very valuable. Thank you.
Good. Is there something you're trying to do next, or,
Well,
I always like to ask where you are on your journey, because some people, they got the Coinbase account, which is great. So then what are you hoping to do next or looking to do next?
well, what I was, when I initially signed up, and I just don't have time to spend much time investing in anything, but I wanted to sign up with the Coinbase Pro, which I never eventually did, but I wanted to, because then you could put it on an automatic buy and sell when it reached certain limits and non-limits. And that way I was reading about people making money in short little investment buy sells using crypto. And that's kind of what I was thinking, because I missed the whole, train to crypto world in 2017. I knew all about it, but I didn't know all about it. I just didn't know how to invest in it. I was just listening to people who made thousands and thousands of dollars on crypto. And so when it became more available to invest, like Coinbase was just plainly on the internet, I just started with like as much as I can lose. I'm not going to invest my savings in it. But what I thought, because it went up and down so much, that the buy, sell automatic kind of program would be kind of fun to use for crypto, but I don't know. So that's kind of where I'm at. I know very little about the different exchanges. I went to a meeting in which it was discussed the Trust Wallet, and I'm just kind of investigating that. But I do have a question about Trust Wallet. I am notorious for losing passwords. So if I invest in a Trust Wallet and lose my password to it, do I lose my money?
Well, there's two ways. When you set up the Trust Wallet, you're going to get a 12-word seed phrase, and that's would allow you to restore a wallet, like if your phone died or, fell in the ocean or something like that. So that
Yeah.
you would want to keep, in a safe place, not in your purse, or with you, type of thing. Then Trust has an option to have like a 6-digit PIN. So if somebody
Okay.
grabbed your phone, they could open it, but it would say, okay, enter your PIN. And that
Oh,
in essence is like your password, but that's as much of a password as there is that PIN on the phone. And just be aware that there is not a Trust Wallet for your computer. There's been
okay.
some scams out there that are,
Oh, good.
we have now, you can do it on your computer, but it's,
Thanks for warning me. Yeah.
exactly. So that's something to watch out for. Since you mentioned that trading thing, one you might want to look at, let me stop sharing here and jump over to too many screens. There we go. You may want to look at KuCoin.com as a next exchange that you sign up or creating an account with. You don't
Yeah.
need to go crazy on their verification, because a lot of these exchanges, you give them the basic information and they give you're at verification level 1, and you can only trade or withdraw or whatever so much. And then if you do a little more verification, then they let you do more, that type of thing. But you can get started and literally proof of concept these things with 20, $50, that kind of thing. So I would
Yeah.
look at the KuCoin, and they have these trading bots down here
Oh,
that you can set up to say, hey, if it gets to this price, buy it. And then if it gets to this other price, then sell it. And then kind of set up a range, it goes back and forth,
yeah.
kind of thing. And that they're not the only one that has this, but they have it built into their exchange, and you don't have to configure things
Good.
back and forth and that kind of thing. And then let me show you, because you mentioned some of them, this is my website, because I do coaching and some other small group classes as well once in a while. And I have this page that's getting started. If you click right here, but this is the page. And so I kind of talk about, here's where to get started with just some basics like the Trust Wallet or
good.
Clever Wallet. And it just kind of, I have more of the why, like why you want to do this,
Yeah.
as opposed to just telling you do this because, so
That's going to be helpful.
kind of just
Yeah.
run through here, and it, hopefully it'll make sense. Maybe it'll make sense 80% of the time, or whatever. But it sounds like you're on the right track, and I always want to help people get over the next roadblock or get next.
So
that kind of
what's
thing.
the URL there? BREcrypto.com.
Crypto.
Is that?
Yeah. And then just click on getting started. I'll
Okay,
paste that
thanks.
into
I'll
the
go
chat
over
here
to
too.
Yeah.
Let me see. I don't know, where's my chat window go? Chat. Yeah. Good. So yeah, you're on the right track. And yeah, you don't have to do, $10,000 at a time. You could do, sometimes you could do $10 at a time. You might get hit with fees, but like those the bots that they do on the over here on KuCoin, you can usually start those with about $40 is the minimum that they'll let you do it. So, go and set it up, play with it, and see how it works. As far as
Thanks
that
for
goes.
the recommendation. I appreciate it.
Sure. Anyone else have any questions they're trying to solve or roadblocks they're running into?
Yes, could you elaborate a little more? You just mentioned using KuCoin where I've heard of these processes these sort of robots where somehow it capitalizes on the fluctuations of the coin. And it sort of does it automatically. And I don't understand how that would work, because if the coin value drops a bit and goes out of the range of the fluctuations, it seems it wouldn't work. But there's some way that process works. Do you know the process I'm talking about? Does that make sense to you?
Yeah, so the KuCoin bots I like because you can set it up to do whatever you'd want to do. And we don't have enough time to sit there and trade back and forth and put in a trade, put in a sell, put in a buy back and forth. But you can put in, say, for example, let's say like I was doing one with the KCS, which is the KuCoin coin, and trading it against USDT, which is the stable coin in dollars. So it's easy to think about the numbers. And it was about $15 at the time. So I would put in that I wanted to trade it between the range of 1450 and 1550, for example. So if it went down to like 1570, it would buy a certain amount of tokens. And then when it went up to 1520, it would sell. And you can set what they call the number of grids between those two limits. So between, for example, if you did 10 grids between 1450 and 1550, it would do one at 1450, 1460, 1470, 80, 90, $15, 50, so on and so forth. And you would have a buy and a sell order basically at each of those. And as it went up and down, it would only sell that position if it was in profit. So if you bought it like at 1480 and it went up to 1520, it would sell. That kind of thing. Does that make sense?
Something I'm still not getting, because that requires that it always bob up and down in the same range, but then over time the value of these coins changes and it'll be out of that range. But it
Right,
seems there's a
right.
mechanism that they use so that it still works automatically. And how is that?
Some of them, let's see, these
Or I say some of them,
yeah,
meaning some of these
yeah,
processes.
yeah. One part of that is you can go in and put in a stop. So if it goes below your range, it would just sell out. So if the coin was tanking, it could sell out. There's another one called what is it called? Bits Gap.
Yes, right.
That
That's what I thought.
will kind of automatically move your range up. So if all of a sudden it was trading at $16 instead of around $15, then your range would be from 1550 to 1650, and it would basically move that range up as the coin moved up. And then I think they have that same kind of thing as the coin moves down, although you may not want to do it going down because it could go down to $1 and it's still trading back and forth, but you bought high and you're selling low, and that's a bad thing. So they have taken that into account, and there's situations and parameters that you can set to take care of that issue. Is the best way I can answer without trying to illustrate it, kind of thing. So I would look at, I like to send people to KuCoin, because you can do it with their built-in tool, the trading bot here. And then once you get comfortable with that and you want to do a little more advanced, then you can go to BitsGap and actually subscribe to their service, because they charge a little bit for that. But it works with a number of different exchanges. So you're not limited to just exchanging on KuCoin and that kind of thing. And you can do all these things. So that's my recommendation on that.
And how do you figure out how to use that? Do they have a little tutorial or something that walks you through?
KuCoin has quite a bit of those under their, let's see. Yeah, they're big enough that they've got all kinds of tutorials. I've done a couple classes on that, and I think we've talked about that. If you go to videos.fresnobitcoin.com, it'll take you to our YouTube channel, And I think we've done 1 or 2 classes on that topic, here in the group. Let's see.
Now, are these
So-
all, are these videos all displayed in your, on your website?
Well, yeah, just to clarify, so the website is something I'm doing as kind of a side business, as a consulting, business for folks. And so this is separate and outside of what the meetup is doing.
Oh,
So these are, I have classes here that you can click on, and they're $40 for a 2-hour class, and they're on different topics, these kinds of things. And so the trading is one topic that I've done in the past, but separate, going back to our meetup group that we're, in doing right now. In the past, like this one that we did 10 months ago, was on crypto trading techniques and strategies. And we had talked about KuCoin and all that kind of stuff. So you could go to YouTube and I would go there and watch this video from our meeting back in October. And, go through that. If you, I don't know if you were on that meeting or not, but that was a
no, I
topic
wasn't,
back then.
unfortunately.
Yeah.
I'm a little bit confused here about all this stuff, but is that listed in Coin Bureau?
Coin, no, this is a YouTube channel just for our group. So this is here's the home page. And you can get there by typing in videos.fresnobitcoin.com.
Okay,
Will take you to that. And so I usually try to include this link in the emails that I send out, just so you can go back, or if you missed this meeting, it'll be up on YouTube, tonight or tomorrow, that kind of thing. And you can always check in there to see the latest, here's last month's meeting, the month before that, et cetera, et cetera. And so we're up to, I don't know, what do we got? Yeah, a couple dozen videos or something now. So you can go back there and check those. So I would go back and start with this one here from October, and go from there. And see what we did there, and then create a KuCoin account, put in $40 and start playing with it. You can run it for 5 minutes, 10 minutes. You may not get a lot of transactions in, but you can stop at any time. And their app on the phone, KuCoin's app for your phone is actually very good for this trading bot stuff. It was actually better on the phone than the computer desktop version was for a while, but the desktop was kind of caught up for a little bit.
and so when it does that bot trading, like what sort of return does that give you?
It depends on the activity. I mean, it if you traded, I mean, you can tell it where the more grids you put in, then the less you're going to make on each transaction. But you'll get more transactions going on, for smaller movements. So that's not even, it's kind of like asking, well, what kind of cookies do you like? And all I can tell you is what the temperature of the oven is. And it's just, you've got to go in there, I mean, you could, there was one time I started it with $50, and I looked at it a day later and I had $77. And I'm like, oh,
Wow.
this is pretty good. Let's let this ride. Well, then 2 days later, I was down to $37 or something like that. So it, in my mind, I'm like, oh, this is like totally automatic. And but if the coin goes down, what happened there is the trades that I was making were all profitable, because it won't sell if you're going to lose money. But the coins that I was sitting in that had an open trade to sell, the coin went down, in value. And so I was down in value. If that makes sense. So if you see like the whole market's going down, then you may want to stop all your trading and just get out right then, type of thing. So there's a few different ways. I've seen some people that'll put in crazy wide ranges. So instead of like 1450 to 1550, they'd put in like $11 to $23. And it would just trade within those ranges. I mean, which obviously a huge range. It may not even get to those ranges for 6 months, but at least you're trading all the time. And, so you just have to play with, there's no set
Yeah.
number kind of thing.
Now this Fresno, you have this website, for Fresno, Bitcoin. And then, so is this all separate material then from the Coin Bureau?
Coin Bureau is some other site. I don't even, it's
Oh, that's not you? Oh,
no. Wait, how in the hell do I spell bureau?
Coin Bureau, they're a review organization that does a lot of YouTube videos, Instagram videos, stuff like that. They don't do any exchanges.
Yeah, information portal. Yeah. So videos, blogs, the whole deal. So that's not us. That's not me. I'm not sure who that is, but if they've got good info in there, go for it. If you see something there that you want to discuss, or like, hey, I saw this, what does it mean? We could get into it in more detail, that type of thing. There's also kind of the two that I go to here is CoinDesk, for news, and then Cointelegraph. And just like any other topic, there's hundreds of websites out there, but these are the two that I use and kind of keep up with. So yeah, good question on that. Okay, any other questions you guys have, or problems with wallets, exchanges, that kind of thing? Last couple of months we've kind of been a little more defensive just because the market went down, and like, okay, what do we need to do to get out, or where do we keep our coins safe with these some of these exchanges going out? Let's see, was that Frank mentioned Solano being hacked? Where did that go? These darn chat windows. Okay. Solano being hacked. I don't know much about that one. Anthony, did you follow that too much? I don't have it.
Yeah. So the Solana hack wasn't actually directly on their chain. It was through two other wallets that are completely separate from Solana, and it was due to I'm trying to remember exactly what happened. It wasn't necessarily just like a faulty code. It was something to do with as I think it was like arbitrage that created an issue where people had found a loophole in, when they're doing the arbitrage, being able to link it back to the chain and basically do like a loop where instead of the computer, or the smart contract realizing that the contract had already been finished and executed, it basically runs it like it never happened and just continuously runs it through that same wallet.
Yeah, and there was another one I saw. I don't think this was Solano, but it was kind of one of the similar thing where we heard about it on that network, and it was one of these wallets with a centralized aspect, and their file of private keys got hacked.
Yeah. Was that on Polygon?
I don't.
Or maybe that was AVAX.
Yeah, that one. I don't think it was Polygon, but anyway, it's one of these situations where the issue happens because somebody else is holding the private keys. Now, some company is trying to keep that file of thousands of private keys safe, but when they don't, or aren't successful keeping it safe, then bad things happen to the people that have funds in those exchanges. So the exchanges aren't bad, but they're just not a place to keep and store the coins. So use the exchange to do the trade, and then bring your coins back to your wallet, whether it's a cold storage Ledger, Trezor type of wallet, or Exodus, Trust, Clever, that kind of thing. But yeah, we just got to be safe. Yeah. And then Frank asked about Theta Network. Theta, Frank, has been my long-term you know, one that I've had, and I'm still sitting on the same coins, and they went from, I think I bought them about 20 cents. And then I got like 5 theta fuel for every theta that I had. And the price of the main coin went up to close to $15, you know, from 20 cents. So I was really happy, but I think it's down to like $2 now or something like that. So, you know, just like all the other ones went up and down. I think they still have their, you know, what they're doing, and they actually, you know, are functioning in the video decentralized space. It still makes sense. But as far as the value of the coin, you know, yet to be seen as far as that goes. And I'm sure they'll have some competitors, but hopefully that the fact they've been around and teamed up with folks like Samsung will help them, you know, for the long term. Yeah. Okay. Anything else you guys want to bring up real quick before we call it a meeting here? Anybody else? Frank, let's see.
So, yeah, I'm still kind of overwhelmed here. So the direct resources you have is the Fresno group. And then you have the other website, which is for your classes. And what is that website? You know, we have your
Oh, yeah, that one's brecrypto.com.
BRE, crypto.com.
Yeah, and let me switch back to share.
I might mention when I tried to join this group today, I got this error signal saying bad, like bad link or something. So then I had to find you by searching through meetup.com, and luckily I was able to find you.
Yeah, so the link, and I did share the screen here as my contact info. If you guys are looking to get a hold of me or have a question or something, texts work really good for that. Just, you know, quick question they can answer anytime. But yeah, so the meetings are always on meetup.com, and you get the link to the meeting, the Zoom link, after you RSVP. So you have to RSVP, and then it'll show you that link. Then I also try to, and I'm usually successful, sending out reminders once in a while via email through meetup.com. And then we have a mailing list as well. And so if you sign up on that mailing list, then I send you other emails. I mean, they basically say the same thing, but I think they work a little better than the Meetup messaging system. So,
Yeah, I clicked on that. I clicked on that link in the email, and it said, I can't remember, bad something.
oh,
I
did
just
I
tried to
maybe I messed up the link, or sometimes if it like word wraps around to the next line, you know, what you're clicking on isn't the full link. But yeah, if that does happen, you know, just reply to the email and say, hey, this doesn't work, you know, type of thing, and I'll fix it, because you know, if you had the problem, somebody else probably had it too. So good. Okay, so next month, I haven't put it up yet, but we're going to be meeting the Saturday after Labor Day, so it'll be the week after that. And Anthony and I are going to talk about how to research crypto coins, and, you know, to decide which ones to buy and invest in, that kind of thing. If there's any that have been thinking about, if you want to shoot me an email or post comments, like, let me go to the meetup real quick back here. So this is the event page, you know, for today's meeting. And so you can post comments down here, and I'll usually post a link to the recording of today's meeting here. But if you have questions, you can always post those there, either before the meeting or after, that kind of thing, and then others can answer. And if you find other attendants and you want to, you know, shoot them a message, you can do that too. So like here, Robert, I can click on you, and then click on message, and then actually send a message through Meetup, directly to you. So if you think, Frank had a good question or something and you want to, send him a message, you can find him on there, and or anybody else, and we can talk to each other that way, type of thing. So just a heads up on that. But if it's a public type of comment, definitely put in the comments for that event, because then anybody can answer and everybody else can see it. And then in September, we'll be meeting again in person for those of you guys in the Fresno, Clovis area. And so that was fun. And, Zoom is great, but it's always good to meet in person as well. So we'll be doing that hopefully every month will be the goal there. But I'll get next month's meeting here posted pretty quick. So we'll have get that on the calendars, but it will be the week after Labor Day. Obviously, Labor Day is a little crazy, but we'll be doing that a week after that. All right, guys, thanks for joining in, and I will get this onto YouTube if you want to look at it. And again, Fresno or videos.fresnobitcoin.com to get to our previous videos if you want to go back a couple months and see what we talked about there. And I'm always looking for topics if you guys have specific things you'd like to talk about for future meetings. I always appreciate those. So have a good rest of your day, and I will see you next month. Take care,
Goodbye.
everyone.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye.